Oh, I'm upside down. Look at that. Okay, much better. My name is Michael Coffey. Welcome to English 11. This is our open house video, and I'm going to walk you through just a couple of things so you can find uh, what's going on in our classroom. English 11, just to give you a little bit of background, is focused on American literature, and our theme for the year is the American identity. These first couple of days, we're kind of building our relationships. I'm learning about your students, and they're sharing with me kind of their sense of who we are as America and who they are specifically as Americans, whether they are citizens or whether they're here under a parent's work visa or an exchange student. So I recognize that we've got different walks of life within the classroom, and we're exploring kind of what it means to be an American all throughout the course of the year. Um, Consequently, there are things that are unavoidable to discuss, but we start off by looking at founding documents, founding speeches. So we'll look at Patrick Henry, the Declaration of Independence, the General History of Virginia by John Smith. We might do a clip possibly from Pocahontas, but we also look at different experiences that are had by Americans over the course of our history. We look at the Salem witch trials in the Crucible and the Red Scare in the 1950s, along with the Crucible, because it was written at that time. And ultimately stories of resilience, given what your students have experienced over the past year plus, year and a quarter academically. I really want to focus on stories that talk about how we are resilient and persevere through a lot of our struggles. And that's one of ultimately the best things about this country, is that we are a story of overcoming hardship and seeking to make, as the Constitution says, a more perfect union. So, given all of that, I want to show you our Canvas page. So when you're looking at your students' dashboard, their classes show up on that dashboard, and English 11 appears with English 11 Coffee. And so you click on that, and at the very top, you've got my email address. And I will tell you, I'll confess to you that email is the best way to get hold of me. I'm currently, for instance, in my classroom on my prep, a very rare opportunity for a teacher at Penn High School to be in their classroom on any one of their preps. I'm only in here for one of them. I'm in room 196. So if your student ever needs to find me, they know that they can find me in this particular room almost all of the time. But email is the best way to get hold of me. If it turns out that there's like group work going on, and I see a notification that I've received an email from a parent, if it's something that I can respond to in the moment, sometimes I can do that because the students are working on other things. Otherwise, I will get quick back to you. Certainly on a prep or between class periods, or at my lunch. Otherwise, you can leave me a voicemail at extension 20433. It'll take me a little while to get back to you with a phone call. And the number one reason for that is, to be perfectly honest, it's been a while since I've received a voicemail, and I'm not sure if I remember what my password is to get into my voicemail account. But if you call me, I'll get back to you within 24 hours if I need to change that password. I've encouraged students to, certainly not ignore their email. They should be checking their email. They shouldn't check their email all the time. They shouldn't sleep by their phone. They need to mute those kinds of notifications so that they're able to get some sleep. As adolescents, and they're changing physically, emotionally, and mentally, some of them are struggling to sleep, and I recognize that. And our phones are becoming a bigger problem in distressing us and prohibiting us from being able to get any kind of sleep. Students also know that they should be checking the announcements. The announcements for our class will tell them exactly what we're doing on any given day. And so I'm going to model that for you. So if we click on announcements, you'll see here that I've got day one identified. And so they, if they want to see what we did on day one, they would just click on that. I have one student who has added. I've got a handful of students who I have not seen yet for a variety of reasons. They're ill, some might be in quarantine. And so if you want to see kind of what we've been doing, they need to go back and check up on those things. So for today, what students are going to be doing, we're going to take a look at this article, and it deals with kind of identity, part of our theme, what your most vivid memories say about you. And then that note-taking, my Black 3 class has already done, and so they're going to move on to the next item, and they're going to look at this, kind of create what's referred to, or what's called, a Freyer model. And so there are 4 different quadrants. And going along with this notion of the American identity, we've got in the top left, what are some symbols of America? I've had some classes, a lot of classes drawing certainly American flags, but also, like fast food restaurants, or the dollar bill, or some of the images that appear on the dollar bill that are symbolic of America, and drawing those pictures. In the top right, kind of an exploration to put themselves in someone else's shoes. How might someone from a foreign country, or a dictionary definition, what would a dictionary definition be of America? In the bottom left, then, in these small groups, they're going to identify what an American is, or what America is. And then finally, in the bottom right, what is not American? And that's an opportunity certainly to provide silly examples. Like somebody, I think there was a group yesterday that wrote Gila monsters or something along those lines. And so, yes, a Gila monster is not an American. And then we're going to spend some time, although Gold 2 did not get an opportunity to do this. In Black 3, we're going to look at a poem here, an important poem here. Emma Lazarus's The New Colossus, that appears at the base of the Statue of Liberty. And so we're going to really get into a number of things where this poem is concerned, and the structure of the poem, and discuss it. So I think that covers most of my ground. Have I posted the syllabus yet? That's a good question. I have. Excellent. Okay, so there are some things to be determined. I've not decided yet exactly what books we are going to read this year. I can tell you what we read last year. Last year was my first year in probably about 5 or 6 years that I've taught English 11. And we read Farewell to Manzanar, about the Japanese internment camps. We read Fences, about an African-American family in the city of Pittsburgh, and their different struggles, particularly the father's, with his own past, and trying to overcome those sorts of things, and his failures in kind of trying to break free of his past. And then we read a novel called Ordinary People, that was contemporary, came out in the 1970s, and has been part of curriculums for historically a number of years, but has recently kind of fallen off for other young adult texts. So this year, I'm not sure exactly where we're going to go, but I do intend to periodically collaborate with some of my peers at English 11. A little bit about me. I've been teaching for 25 years, and I have taught English 11 on and off throughout those 25 years. So I've got a lot of work with them. I had a junior last year of my own at Niles High School. He's a senior this year. And for those of you whose students are looking to kind of push themselves next year, I also teach advanced placement English literature and composition. and I'm willing to work with your student and help them out as best I can. Which brings me to one final thing I do want to show you, and I know I've probably gone over time and I'm talking way too much, but in the calendar on Canvas, you will see that there are conference times that I'm available to meet with students, to talk with them about all sorts of things. And so once your students are assigned their first writing assignment, they can sign up for a time to come and meet with me. For now, those times, there's usually only 2 sessions in the morning, and maybe 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But once I get back into the rhythm of being here in the school building, I do intend to add some more. Sometimes as early as 7:30, and sometimes I'm willing to go much later to meet with students and talk with them about their concerns and about their work. So, okay. Again, my name is Michael Coffey. This has been English 11, and I hope your evening is a wonderful one. Thank you.